15 competition venues, 19 sports including 8 parasports, 72 countries and territories, 4,100 athletes and officials, 1 billion global TV viewers, 1.5 million ticketed spectators. Welcome to the incredible world of gymnastics. Welcome to a world where you will see real superheroes compete in the ultimate battle for supremacy. Gymnastics is a sport unlike any other. Our heroes will run, balance, and even fly to earn their place on the medal podium. Strength and courage are needed to execute perfect routines with speed and agility. Artistry and grace elevate the gymnast to levels of performance that are beyond the realms of the imagination. This sport requires breathtaking endurance, determination, and focus. Endurance to compete across all apparatus, determination to excel the competition, and focus to understand what is required to be a champion. Each gymnast will perform a routine that pushes them to their physical limit and will simply take your breath away. These incredible displays of prowess will need no words to inspire each and every one of you. Prepare yourselves for the ultimate in drama and excitement. Cheer on our superheroes as they perform at their very best, with displays that show both technical and artistic mastery. This is a time to suspend belief, to let the imagination and artistry of some of the world's most talented gymnasts transport you to another world. Welcome to the incredible Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games Gymnastics Competition. We're all about positivity, so everyone, do your best.
Performance from our dancers there, great performance.
The gymnasts, coaches and judges are ready. Let's count them down in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo!
Birmingham 2022, are you ready? Then let's get started.
Well, a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to the men's all-around final. 18 finalists, all performing again from qualification. A gymnast with the highest combined score across all of the apparatus wins. So none of the qualification scores that are being posted count here. And what an illustrious group we've got. Gymnasts are going to be working in 3 groups here across 6 pieces of apparatus: the floor, the pommel horse, the rings, the vault, the parallel bars and the high bar.
Representing Wales, Josh Cook.
Josh Cook just been introduced.
Representing New Zealand, Ethan Dick.
Ethan Dick for New Zealand.
Representing Sri Lanka, Ruchire Fernando.
Riccara Fernando's.
Starting on the pommel horse, representing Wales, Jacob Edwards. Representing Jersey, Daniel Lee.
Daniel Lee had a storming qualification competition.
Representing Scotland, Pavel Karnienko.
Pavel Karnienko from Scotland. Great representation for home
Canada,
nations here.
Kenji Tamani.
Sitting alongside me in the commentary box, Christine Still and Craig Heap.
Mason Stevens.
Claire Mason-Stevens. Absolutely superb. What a lad. Yes, good morning to you both. Igor Margules from the Cayman Islands is a replacement. He's just come in. He's just heard that he's competing this morning. Over to the top group, Felix Dolce.
Representing Australia,
if he hits, watch out for him. Jesse Moore.
From Cyprus, Marius Georgiou.
Marius Georgiou, bronze medalist in the all-round from the last Commonwealth Games. Jake Jarman in the top group as well, British champion.
Scotland, Frank Baines.
Frank
And from England,
for Scotland, and James Hall rounds up that top group. Could this be his
Ladies
year?
and gentlemen, the gymnasts in the men's individual
There'll be a little warm-up
final.
before the gymnasts crack on with these 6 pieces of apparatus, but what a test of strength, what a test of physical ability this all-around competition is, Christine.
Absolutely, gymnastics is designed to find the person with the greatest sporting attributes. You have to have strength, you have to have speed, you have to have balance and style. It really, when you work all these 6 pieces, it really is the ultimate test. And these guys have been fortunate. They've had one rest day between their team competition and coming out here for the all-around final, but it's been a very early start for them. We're here 9 o'clock in the morning. They'll have been warming up. They'll have been in the arena for, I would imagine, about 6 o'clock this morning, doing their warm-ups. There's a gym out the back. They haven't been in on this apparatus, so they get their 30 seconds now, but it's a very strenuous test of strength and stamina.
Yeah, Jacob Edwards, you can see Daniel Lee, Pavel in there as well from the home nation, starting on pommel horse. Yeah, a bit of a, well, it's a good piece to get out the way, that one, Craig.
Yes, similar to the beam, it is a piece of apparatus there. You need to harness all your concentration, because if you're slightly offline with the shoulders, you're on the mat. This will be a piece of apparatus that will really test the gymnast, but this really is the ultimate competition. All gymnasts want the all-around title, as Christine said. It's all about being good on all pieces.
Well, just joining us here for the warm-up of the first of the 6 pieces of apparatus. What a test of strength and physical ability these 6 pieces are. 3 groups working across those 6 pieces of apparatus. Josh Cook out for Wales. He's just going to hang the rings, get those shoulders warmed up, and bear in mind it's just gone 9 o'clock, so these lads will have been up incredibly early and in the warm-up gym ready for this. So a real test here, Chris, and it's been quite a full-on schedule, hasn't it, for these gymnasts?
Yes, it has been a very full-on schedule. Their qualification competition, which was also the team competition, was a long competition, over 3.5 hours, and we saw little mistakes creeping in towards the end. It's not just physically draining being under these lights and competing, but it's very mentally draining. You have to keep yourself in the zone, and it's been a big test. They've had a day off, but then they've had a very early start this morning.
Well, could this be the year for James Hall? It would be super. There he is. There is the man himself. He's the top qualifier. In the absence of Joe Fraser, who couldn't do all 6 pieces. But it won't be an easy ride for James, with Jake Jarman in there as well. Marius Georgiou, who he took a bronze at the last Commonwealth Games in the all-arounds, and Felix Dolce as well. If he hits, he'll be somebody to watch as well, Craig.
Absolutely, it's not a foregone conclusion like in the men's team final. This will be the one to watch. He's been thereabouts. We've really followed his career. He's been a real key member of the men's team.
Well, it's a long way around, the 6 pieces of apparatus. We're going to start on floor with the Canadian Felix Dolce. He was the 5th highest qualifier, but he did fall on high bar. Such a stylish gymnast, great lines and a lot of power. Here we go then, the first of 6 pieces in this men's all-around final.
Oh, and an immaculate start. very difficult combination forward. And another superb landing. Double twisting, double back. Twisting forwards. Now all these difficult elements get added together to give you your difficulty score. So he's done big, big tumbles. He also has to include non-acrobatic skills like this, show his ability to hold a handstand, keep the balance, show total mastery. And look at that, after all that previous tumbling, a sky-high double front, landed beautifully. 2.5 twists, punch front half. This is a very impressive opener to this all-around final. Triple twist.
Oh!
Well, I don't think he put a foot wrong, Matt.
Well, Dolce's off to an absolute flyer. He did qualify for the floor final, so a very strong piece of apparatus for him. But, well, a taste of things to come.
Well, he's certainly up for it.
Jacob Edwards now for Wales, stepping in for Joseph Kennan-Jones. He's starting over on pommel horse. Be pleased to get this one out the way.
Yeah, good on this piece of apparatus. Didn't have the best qualification round, but he'll want to make amends, and he's working good so far. Lovely extension in the circle. The judges are looking for the body to be aligned parallel with the horse. Up into the handstand, into the pirouette. What a start for Jacob Edwards for
Good.
Wales.
Strong, steady start. 19 years old. In the words of his mum, he's the baby of the team.
Well, that's his dad there, coached him,
Yes.
Paul Edwards. He's coached at Olympus Gymnastic Club with his mum and his dad. And this is a real proud moment for the whole family.
Yeah, what a family day out to the Commonwealth Games, to be competing, to be coaching. Dolce starts with a 14-2.
And that is a massive opening score.
We had a 13.45 in qualification, so he's up the game.
Well, the next gymnast, Jessie Moore, was second at the Oceania Championships all-round. He was the 4th highest qualifier all-around. His qualification wasn't without deduction, so if he hits, he'll pile the pressure on the top 3 as well.
Super double twisting front into a punch front. Oh, quite a deep landing. It was good, but it was deep. Oh, and he mistimed that. He looks just not quite so happy on this floor area. That's a better landing. You have to really time the landing well. You have to put your feet right in to the floor, showing his skill for the pommel horse. Beautiful flares there. Lovely control. Now, he's already made one mistake. He needs to really punch, lift, double twist. Much better, but much simpler as well. Good triple, a tiny bit short of the actual triple, probably 2 3/4. He just didn't look quite settled.
Jacob scores 12.85 for his first piece. That's a good, steady settler. This is Daniel Lee. He qualified 10th for this all-round final. He's representing Jersey. He can swing this piece.
Yeah, we're impressed with this gymnast in qualification. Gets to work. That's the double leg circle. He's got a good extension and a good frame for the all-around competition. A very compact and powerful gymnast. He works the pommel so well. Gymnast travels up and down the horse with the spindles and turns. That adds the difficulty. Good, solid start. Well, means business.
Not the most difficult pommel horse routine you'll see, but it was efficient. And that's what you're after in the all-round competition. Get the job done, get on the piece of apparatus and get off quick without too many deductions. Jessie Moore, 11.8. Yeah, we were talking to the coaches and the gymnasts, actually, weren't we, Chris, about this floor and the fact that it's great for taking off, but not so good for landing.
Yes, you have to be really precise with your landing.
Marius Georgiou for Cyprus will challenge for a medal.
And that was what we meant. He really met the floor well on that double front in combination. And that, he had that little rebound backwards because his chest was down. But it was a super tumble. Floated that straight front after the double twisting forwards. Really strong gymnast on the apparatus. He really didn't look very confident on the floor exercise in the team competition, but I'm sure their bronze medal will have lifted his aspirations. Good double twist. Super triple, that was cleanly round. Just one step, but that was a much better performance than in his team competition.
Yeah, the triple twist at the end there just seemed to hang in the air. Marius was the Commonwealth floor champion at the last games, but he didn't qualify for floor. Daniel Lee, 12.45. Great start on pommel horse. He'll move across to rings. Pavel Kornijenko next for Scotland. 22-year-old is the Scottish all-around champion.
Good start into the handstand. Oh, that's the difficult turn on the one handle. And this is building the difficulty. Again, another gymnast with good extension. We'll call this the execution, the forward travel. Must keep the momentum going. Speed up into the handstand. Good, solid start for Scotland.
All the home nations represented in this all-round final. Georgiou scores 12.75.
With a 0.3 penalty. Where was that?
Jake Jarman next up on the floor. First of the gymnasts from Team England who took gold in the team final.
Tremendously exciting gymnast. Huge opening tumble, little scurry backwards there. He's got so much power. His big challenge is to not overcook things, but look at that. Double back with triple twist. Just makes it all look so easy. 2.5, punch front, double twisting front. That was a fantastic combination. Simple double twist along the side.
Come on, Josh.
Steadies himself for another of these big tumbles. Full twist, 2.5. That is massive twisting. Each twist you make adds your difficulty. And this is the finish, triple twist, nails that landing. Possibly the judges will deduct for the legs slightly apart on landing, but that's about all.
Well, it was a massive start for Jake Jarman, the British champion on that piece. The highest score so far is 14.2 from Felix Dolce, 13.15 for Pavel. Kenji Tamim for Canada next. Second of the Canadian gymnasts in this all-round final. He's in the pommel final.
Silver medal in the bag with the team. Should be good on this piece of apparatus. You can see plenty of clearance between his body and the pommel horse. Builds the difficulty on the one handle. Lovely travel down the horse. They've got some weird and wonderful names. That's a woo. That really does build the difficulty. He's working well. If he can just keep this up to the end, forward travel, and he'll come backwards in the Chavado. Wait for it, he needs to wind up into the handstand. Slight hesitation, but the best routine we've seen so far. Big difficulty. Just that slight pause on the dismount.
Jake looks relaxed. 14 scored. So it's slightly behind Felix Dolce.
A massive 6.3 in difficulty.
James Hall then getting his bid for an all-around medal here at the Commonwealth Games underway, starting on floor. Took a silver at the last Commonwealth Games. Could this be his year?
Well, he's got all the pressure today. And that's how you answer it. Super landing, handspring, double pike front. Double twisting, double tuck back, another secure tumble. Double twist, full twisting front. Ooh, down side pass of a 2.5 twist into straight front. His twisting is very efficient. As you can see, that's the first little error, a step forwards. This has good pace, this routine. Holds the balance. Can see his strength there. Arms very wide. Final test, the big round off, the triple twist. Clean landing, just one pace on one landing. That was a very good opener from James.
Yeah, he means business. It's game on from James Hall. Well, James scored a 13.25 in qualification. Kenji Tamim, 13.2. He goes into third, ahead of Pavel from Scotland. Claire Mason-Stevens next to Mount the Pommel Horse. Was third in the all-round at the Oceania Championships earlier this year.
Well, the Australian team bitterly disappointed not to make the podium with the team, so they'll be wanting to prove themselves in this all-around competition. He's having to work a little bit. He's got very big shoulders. It makes pommel horse difficult to swing. Using strength there into the handstand. So, bit of an error on the dismount. Not just the same swing as the previous gymnast. You can see the look of disappointment in his face.
Yeah. Too early for him, I think. 9:23. 13.45, so he's up from qualification. He'll be pleased with that. He's settled in nicely. He'll move across to pommel horse. Last up on floor in this first rotation is Frank Baines for Scotland. And Frank is in the floor final with a 13.3.
Floats those first two tumbles. Not such a difficult routine, but the highest of execution scores. Textbook landings. You have to meet the floor, bend the knees and absorb all the power and height and flight. absolute control. Oh, super high double Arabian. I was just thinking he needed a multiple somersault, and he finished on a really excellent one.
Well, Frank is back from retirement for these Commonwealth Games. Good decision. He's in the floor final, and he's making a mark here in the men's all-round. Claire Mason's Stephen scores at 11.4 for Pomeroy's.
Well, he's enjoying himself regardless.
The ice from the Cayman Islands. He's coming in to replace a gymnast from New Zealand. Pulled out, Mikhail Kudinov.
Well, should really relish the opportunity to compete again in this fantastic arena. Quite a basic routine to some we've seen, but he's earned his right to be here. This is where the gymnast, you can just see a little bit more extension required. Come on, young man, up, come on, up into handstand. You can do it. And he's through, well done. What a fight.
Well done. He's not sure if he's going to get the value of his dismount, so he was umming and ahhing about whether or not to go back and do it again, but I think he's confirmed that he'll be allowed. He had a word with his coach, gave him the nod.
Yeah, gymnasts have to get to handstand with swing. You can't use strength on that apparatus.
Well, for some of these gymnasts, like the gymnasts from the Cayman Islands, achieving this final is the ultimate aim, and they're absolutely living the dream.
13.35 for Frank Baines. What a great start. He's in fourth after one.
Super consistency, 13.3 in qualification, 13.35. And for non-gymnastic fans, how we get the scores are the top 10 difficult elements added together. That gives you your D score. Your execution is from 10. And to put it into some context there, Frank had quite a low start value, but executed the routine extremely well.
Chance to look back at Josh Cook from Wales on rings. 21 years old. His second Commonwealth Games.
Well, the Welsh team competed extremely well in the team final. Be a little disappointed they didn't make the podium, but it was a strong competition. He's a strong gymnast, showing his strength elements and a lovely position in the handstand. The double tuck front somersault into the double pike. Gymnast must lock the elbows, push through the rings. The forward long swing, great control. Needs a big dismount, winds up, double twisting, double back. What a solid performance from Josh Cook.
That's the way you want to start your six pieces. Puts him into seventh with a score of 13. Ethan Dick for New Zealand. This happened a little bit earlier on as well. 22-year-old, his second Commonwealth Games as well.
And the gymnasts from New Zealand have tremendous style. Legs always straight, knees locked together. That was a super combination of forward somersaulting. Now we need some strength work. Lifts to a straight handstand. Look how flat the back is. Swings up into that position as well. You have to swing on straight arms. Nice full twisting double back. Not so difficult, but really didn't give much away to the judges. That should be a high execution score.
Well, he's up into 10th with a score of 12.55. Margles scores a 7.95 with a slightly hesitant dismount on pommel horse. So this is how things look after one. No major shocks in the first piece of apparatus. Dolce leads ahead of Jarman in second and James Hall in third. Frank Brains and the two Welsh gymnasts down in 7th and 8th.
Fantastic start for the boys from the home nations. All of them in at the top 8. Shows you down in 9th, he'll be disappointed with that. But he's got some good pieces of apparatus to come.
So gymnasts just coming towards the end of their warm-up. The top group are going to be on pommel horse, and then we've got the second group on rings, and also we'll see gymnasts vaulting as well. This is Yogeshwar Singh from India, just at the end of the vault runway, the 25-meter run-up. He scored a 13 on vault. Gymnasts just get the 1 vault in this all-around final. It's over quick.
Oh, he really had to bend deeply to make that landing, but it just shows you the strength of these gymnasts. It wasn't perfect by any manner of means, but he made it look easy. Double twist. He was a little bit late with the second twist. He was still twisting as he hit the mat. And so he really had to absorb, but he kept his knee off. So there'll be deduction for a deep landing, but there won't be a deduction for a fall.
It was nice style in the air. Lovely in the twist. Like you say, the landing just caught him a little bit by surprise, but he did very well.
Well, Daniel Lee was in 11th after the first rotation. It's his second piece of apparatus. 12th in the all-round, the last Commonwealths. And steady start on pommels. Look to build on that here now. It's not a bad piece for him. He scored a 13.3 in qualification.
Yeah, suited to this piece of apparatus, the swing to strength. Look at that, horizontal with the rings in the crucifix. This gymnast really impressed me in the earlier round of the competition. Again, down into a perfectly level crucifix. He's good at swinging as well. It's not all about the strength. Watch this, he'll lay out, double pike, double tuck, up into the handstand. Oh, just a slight bend of the elbows. The work's got to be done on straight arms. That's much better. Needs a big dismount, double twisting, double back. Well, apart from that little arm bend in the middle section, good, solid routine.
A quiet consistency from Dan Lee.
Well, interesting to see, really, because he worked in one of the very early rounds and he looked so impressive. It'll be interesting to see if he still looks as impressive, but that did to me.
Well, a top 10 finish would be very good indeed for Dan. Jesse Moore sat down on floor. He's got a big job here.
Starts with good leg separation. His style is good. You can see he lifts the hips at the front of the swing. The idea is to really hold the body as straight as possible. Oh, but he lost his form. Very nice flares. I know these are not worth so much in the code of points these days, but they lift the routine visually. And he's keeping a lovely shape and style now. A lot of potential, this gymnast. This is very impressive work. Oh, and up to handstand and dismount. He probably would have liked to have pirouetted there as well. And there were a couple of form faults early on, but a really promising routine.
Yeah, he had moments of really good tempo throughout that routine. Yogeshwar Singh with his second piece. And Daniel Lee, he scores 12.9 for rings, puts him on 25.35. Nice to see a third on the board for now. Pavel Karnijenko for Scotland.
Lovely start, the position, the Maltese, level with the rings, and again, the strength parts, oh, and again, into the crucifix. Gymnast must hold these strength parts for a minimum 2 seconds, but also combine strength with swing. And he does that well. Arms straight at all times. Locks out the handstand. Lovely control in the forward long swing. Really is suited to this piece of apparatus. Just the dismount to go. Double twisting, double back, solid start.
Very good piece of apparatus for Pavel. He'll be looking for something around 14 for that. You can expect him to move up the standings. He was in 6th after the first piece of apparatus. But no pun intended when I say that was a strong rings routine. Jesse Moore. He did well to keep going throughout that pommel horse routine. A 13.65 is a good score considering.
Look at the execution. So they lost heavily on the dismount, by not being one of the requirements.
Georgiou was slightly off the mark. After the first piece, he was in 7th, quite uncharacteristically for someone so good at working floor. But he's put the pressure on himself now for this piece.
Super start up to handstand. Very nice on the one handle. He's got lots of confidence and style on this apparatus. You can see clears the handles so well. Ooh, strong travel, building his difficulty. Each of these movements is a valued element. Oh, and that was a great dismount. He'll have pushed himself up the ranking after that.
Very good zippy dismount. I'm sure something Max Whitlock would appreciate there. But he was under a slight pressure there. He'd put in a verbal challenge on his floor score. It wasn't successful, but yeah, Karnijenko up into 1st at the moment. So every 10th is going to be vital in this men's all-around final. Kenji Tamane, he was in 5th after the first piece of apparatus. Canadians doing very, very well after their silver in the team final. They have 2 gymnasts here. Countries just allowed 2 gymnasts each.
Strong start. Back up rise into the Maltese position. Swing to strength, one of the requirements. And swing into the inverted crucifix, but that really is quite high, and that'll pick up a big deduction. Got to be horizontal with the rings. That's better. Back up rise into the top planche. Press into the crucifix. Super strong work. Now we'll have to swing. Double front, double pike. A little bit slow, but well maintained. Crucifix again. You'll need to swing to handstand. There it is, having to work. Come on, press, press. Really stretch out, push through the rings. Hangs on for the dismount. Well, he struggled a bit towards the end, but full of opportunity, full of promise.
Yeah, he'll take that as an all-around rings routine, that's for sure. And something for the future, Chris.
Oh, yes, he really had to fight there, didn't he? But this Canadian team looked very promising indeed.
Georgiou has the highest score on pommels, 13.9. He's up into 2nd, but there's some strong pommel workers to come. But Jake will be looking for a score over 13 if he can. He was 2nd in the British Championships on this piece. In 2nd after the first piece of apparatus. Great start on floor. Keep it going, Jake.
Well, fluid start. Again, this is a piece of apparatus that the gymnast have to try and relax on and swing, and the faster the circle, generally the easier to balance. That's very difficult work between the pommels. Little brush of the horse. Come on, got to keep driving the heels. Lock those legs and feet together. Little separation there, that travel, the woo. Come on, keep the momentum. Drive the heels, traveling forwards and backwards. Knees fluent into the handstand and the pirouette. Good, solid routine. Little bit of separation in the middle, but he's through.
He's through. And you sacrifice a bit of form just to keep the tempo all the way to the finish.
You can really see he felt the pressure there. Young, happy-go-lucky guy, but he's feeling it here.
12.7 for rings for Tamane. He's in 5th. 4 to go for him. Cross to rings now. Claire Mason Stevens. The gymnast that qualified in 7th. Didn't have a nice time on pommel horse. So I think he's out the running. But he's got huge arms.
I was going to say that, Matt. He really looks well suited physically to being a great rings worker. And he starts with that impressive crucifix. He can swing as well. Swing up to the handstand. This is the piece, that the elements that many of them find tricky. They have to swing and hit it in the handstand. He's done that well, slight arch in the back, but the control was there, and so was the control on the landing, full twisting double back. Much happier after that apparatus.
Yeah, much better than pommels. There's that smile. 13.35, he's up from qualification. Oh, that's gonna really pile the pressure on the top 3. And indeed, this man, James Hall, who was in third after the first piece. But he's in the pommel final. He can score high on this piece.
Yes, a good piece of apparatus for James. Very difficult skill, full of originality, this work. It's got a good tempo and pace to the routine. Little split there, but it's only a 10th. Drives the heels. That builds the difficulty. All the work on the one pommel handle. Oh, little separation again on the woo, but it connects two together. So that's a woo-woo. Forward travel. Come on, drive the heels. Got to keep the momentum, keep the rhythm. No strength allowed. Up into the handstand. Slight pause before the dismount, but he's through.
Unbelievable composure. There were a few moments in there where he had to rely on all of his experience. James, it's going well. 12-2 for Claire Mason-Stevens on rings.
He didn't wear the hat after pommel, note.
Yes, no, he wasn't having a good day there, was he? Go Michael Geiss now on rings.
Going for the strength element, didn't quite hold it for long enough. Has come in at the last minute for an injured gymnast. But delighted to be in this final. It's not quite being able to show the complete shape. He's fighting hard to find that handstand, but he's struggling with it. And you can see how easy some of the other guys make it look, but oh, and he didn't get enough swing into his dismount. That was a shame for him.
Well, I think we've got a crowd favourite here. They helped him up with his dismount on pommel horse, and they're supporting him after his dismount on rings. Vault will be next. We're right behind you. Josh Cook. The end of the vault runway. Just the one vault. It's a 4.8 difficulty. Oh, lovely.
Beautiful double twist. Very well controlled. The Welsh guys having worked so well in the team competition.
Josh was in the top 8 after the first piece.
And that will have done him no harm at all. Very stylish in the air.
Up into 4th.
I'm going to say a 9 on execution. That's a good vault.
James has gone into the lead. It's a huge score of 14.25. He pushed the difficulty and it paid off.
Yeah, 6-2 on difficulty. At this level, you've really got to be going for broke.
Well, Frank Baines here for Scotland was just outside the top 3 in 4th after the first piece. Come on, Frank. Keep yourself in contention.
Hugely stylish gymnast. Such a tall gymnast as well, and when he works the apparatus, he works with such confidence. Look at good extension on the one pommel. He'll step back, travel forwards. Lovely original work. The forward travel, the Maggie Harp, he'll come backwards. Keep up with the names, it's Shavado. Come on, Frank. Got to keep the momentum up into the handstand. He's through. That's 2 for 2 for Frank.
Good stuff. He's enjoying himself today. Real celebration in his gymnastics coming back from retirement, and he's loving every second of this.
3rd Commonwealth Games. I think he's trying to get the record of Steve Frew, who did about 20 of them.
He did. Yeah, he didn't do so well through in qualification here, did he? He was aiming for his... Gorgeous and Gunas over on vault now.
Lovely height, lovely flight, actually, very nice vaulting there. The gymnasts from Cyprus are technically very good. They're very precise in their performance, and that was a good round off in front, flip back, block off the top with those good straight arms, 2 twists, out come the arms to steady for landing.
Yeah, the 19-year-old part of the team that took historic bronze. 13.75 for that, puts him into the top 8. Igor Macares scores a 12 all round.
Yes, I was going to say, I don't think that was the score.
No, he's after 2 pieces, he's on 12. Jacob Edwards here for Wales, being lifted up to the rings by his dad.
Proud moment. Took the opportunity to make this all-around final, and will no doubt savour every moment. Good position in the handstand, look, good extension, straight arms. You've got to push through the rings. Swings nice. Double tuck, double pike front somersault. Got to save a little bit of strength for the end. Good arm position. Hugely difficult dismount, the double pike front somersault. It smiles all round.
It's a tough dismount to land because you can't see the floor, but that's the way you do it. And where Josh was in 8. Absolutely super stuff. Just waiting for Frank Bain's score, and it's in. It's 12.9 for Pommel Horse. Up a little bit. But here comes the leader after 1 piece of apparatus. Was down on qualification on this piece of apparatus, had a storming floor, but he needs a good score here to keep him in contention.
Well, he set off on fire on the first piece of apparatus. Had a poor outing in qualification. I want to make amends, but he's working well so far. Here we go, little separation, come on, oh! Replication of the qualification of what could have been. As soon as the gymnast separates the legs, you know they're in a little bit of trouble. And sometimes they separate and they can just keep their shoulders over the hands, but you can see he's leaning to the left and he's off 1 full mark.
Well, if it's one of those all-around competitions where there's not many falls, then that is going to be very, very costly.
Yeah, up into the handstand for the dismount, no problem there, but what a shame because this young man is such a talented gymnast.
Well, he's certainly one for the future. And, you know, he's obviously feeling an enormous sense of disappointment at the moment, but he's got to put it behind him. It's next piece mentality. Jacob Edwards, a score of 12.8. 9th. That'll do after 2. Good gymnast. Nando on vault now. Scored a difficulty of 4 here.
Oh, and a little under-rotated. Didn't quite get the speed down the runway that he needed. Just the single twist. Another gymnast absolutely delighted to be in this packed arena and performing at the finals of the Commonwealth Games. But you see, he bent the legs on the top, then kicked them out, which slows you down tremendously.
Well, he scored a 10.65. So James Hall is leading this all-around competition. Jake Jarman in 2nd, Pavel Konyenko for Scotland in 3rd. The South African gymnast now on vault.
Lovely style in the full twisting, Sukahara.
Mohammed Khalid Mir. We spoke to him actually after the qualification competition, and he had an absolute stinker on pommel, so he's looking to put that right, and he could challenge for top 10.
He looks just a little bit unhappy with that vault.
12.9. It's always interesting that how difficult do you go versus how well you can execute it. That's the real decision that all gymnasts have to make these days in this kind of gymnastics. 11.2 for pommels. It's actually up from his qualification score. So a repeat for him. He'll do well to finish in the top 5.
You were saying about difficulty. Here's looking at the standings.
Yep, here's how things look after 2 pieces. James Hall leads ahead of Jake Jarman in 2nd and Pavel Kononenko in 3rd. Frank Baines in 6th. Jacob Edwards 9th. Pavel Konodenko was in third. Pavel Konodenko was in third after 2 pieces, and he's doing incredibly well to keep himself there. He's gone for a 5-2 difficulty, so a tough vault, and he executed it well. Marius Georgiou, the gymnast, in fourth. After Pommels, he's pushed himself up. He's just outside of medal contention at the moment. He's 0.75 off James Hall.
Good, solid start to the crucifix. Back up rise into the straddle top planche. Beautiful handstand position. Arms need to be locked solid. Push the body, extend to the top of the ring frame. Fantastic control. Look at the height there on the swinging elements. Not the strongest gymnast, we'll see, on the rings. See, I just had to put his elbows on the rings, but he swings fantastic. Big dismount, double twisting, double back. Well, that'll keep him in contention for sure.
This is big stuff from the top group. Yeah, he was down on qualification, actually, so it's going to be interesting to see where he's at, actually. At 14.3 for vault. That's huge. That's up from qualification. The all-round going well for Pavel. Kenji Tamane. Tamane was in 8th.
Oh, but he was very loose off the top. He really didn't extend properly, and he went for the 2 twists. He really didn't have the height or flight to cleanly finish them, and really that was a very uncomfortable landing. You can see he didn't really straighten his arms off the top. Wow, he did well to keep his hands off the floor.
Yeah, he struggled on the top there. Look at the really bent arm. And it's the block from the platform that gives the gymnast the height, and he just didn't have the height there. He did well not to really hurt himself. Let's hope he's okay. Just getting a bit of medical attention.
Marius Georgiou, not without injury. He had a problem with his arm on the last piece in the team final. 13.35 for rings. That's a big score for him. Jake Jarman currently in that 2nd place spot. Floor went well, Pommels well. It's a more difficult piece for the younger gymnasts. And had that chance to develop the strength.
Good start, back up rise into the top planche, lowering into the crucifix with ease. One thing he can do, this young man, is swing. Look at the height there, the double pike, the double tuck somersault, zips into handstand, little adjustment with the elbows, needs to fix the arm and lock out. This is good stuff. Winds up for a big dismount, short and sweet. Look at that landing. Well, that will definitely keep it in contention.
That was absolutely superb within the British squad. Rings hasn't been the strongest piece, but these young gymnasts that are coming through have spent a lot of time in building their skills, and when you think he's only 20 years old, goodness me, what a prospect for the future for the all-round titles.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Jake Jarman has been a big prospect for the future for quite a long time, and it's great. He's always had that flair, but inconsistency. Great to see him putting some consistency together now.
So the leader after 2 pieces of apparatus, James Hall. We'll be back with him shortly, hopefully. Josh Cook will be next to go. 21-year-old, 13th in the all-round competition at Commonwealth Games 2018.
super control on the end of these parallel bars. So essential to be able to show a good handstand on this apparatus. Oh, just a little hesitation as he swung up into the straddle handstand. But that was lovely and clean, the full turn. Pirouettes happily. Long swing, we sing under the bar and above it. Very good style to this routine. Oh, keep those legs straight. Just had to readjust there. Just a slight hesitation. If you have to bend your arms, it's a bit of a deduction, but a very good double pike dismount.
Josh Cook is through.
James Jarman scores 13.3 for
13-3 for rings. That's huge score. It's up by a bit from qualification in that team final. We're talking to scores, James Hall, the highest pommel horse score so far on the last piece, and he's capable of a big score here on rings. He put in a 13-7 in the team final.
Immensely strong start. Circle round into the crucifix. Just look for the level shoulders. Well controlled there. Back up rise into the top planche. Another crucifix for good luck. Now I need to show the swinging elements, and he's good at that as well. Double tuck, double pike. Elbows locked. Not a flicker. Beautiful control in the forward long swing. And again, the backward just needs a good dismount to keep in the lead. Wraps in, double twist, a little adjustment, but the best ring routine we've seen so far.
James Hall with his sights on gold in this men's all-around final. He's halfway round.
And he's such a strong competitor, great team captain. He's really leads by example. Nothing flashy, but all hard work.
Josh Cook scores a 12.2 on P-bars. Ethan Dick, the 13th highest qualifier.
And their beautiful line that the lads from New Zealand show, very suited to lovely pommel work and the travel along. This is where pommel work has changed a bit, swinging under the bar to right up and very smoothly into the handstand. See, the shoulders are fully extended in this handstand position. That was very nice work. Has to hit the handstand at the top. Another pirouette. Ankles always fully extended, gives absolutely nothing away to the judges in untidy work. Every time you do something with a bent leg, they take a mark off the execution. Well, I haven't seen a bent leg at all, or even a step on dismount. That was good work.
Yeah, he's back in the game. The gymnasts here working in 3 groups. It's the lower end of qualification on parallel bars. 13-3 for James Hall. He's in second behind Pavel Karnenyenko, but Pavel's done the high-scoring vault.
And now, representing Scotland, Frank Baines.
Frank Baines was in 6th after 2 pieces. He's capable of over 13 on rings.
Well, he's got the ability to put together a very solid all-round competition. Good good straight arms, lift to handstand. Difficult to get some of the big strength elements when you're such a tall gymnast with long levers. He'll have to get his difficulty from the swinging elements. There's one of them, there's the second. Into the double pike, lovely combination, lots of originality.
And brilliant timing. Often it's very difficult to control the movement of the rings when they start swinging, but Frank's timing was spot on there, and he's through. That's 3 of 6 done for him. 13-8 for parallel bars for Ethan Dick. Puts him back up the field, he's in 5th. Claire Mason-Stevens, what can he do on the high-scoring vault?
Well, he's got the power and the height. Super double twist into the straight Yushenko. We call it the Yushenko after the first gymnast to ever compete this, where they do the round off in front of the platform, hands on the mat in front, flip on, drive up. He had plenty of time to complete his 2 twists.
Well, he's having a much better time in this middle section of the competition, and a 14-1 is exactly what he wanted. He's such a character on the circuit. 12.95 for Frank, down from where he would want to be. Well, Dolce, after that beautiful start, took a fall on pommel horse. There's a lot riding on this rings routine, but he's in the rings final. He qualified 3rd within a huge score of 14.4, so potentially he could be a mark up from everybody here and redeem himself from that fall.
That's why. Strong start. Comfortably in the Maltese, into the crucifix, shoulders level with the rings. That's what the judges are looking for. Swing to strength. That's a good parallel position. The top planche. A little flex of the legs, just a 0.1, but a good handstand position. Control on the forward long swing. Double pike, double tuck, into the backup rise. Good construction of the routine. There you can see the arms pressed, locked out. Just needs a good dismount. Wraps into the double twist. What a landing!
Wow! It's the quality of his execution, isn't it? And the acrobatic skill that he has with his dismount and his landings. I tell you what, when he sorts out his pommel horse, he's going to be one to watch on the world stage, no doubt about it.
He certainly is, and a few more months of training under his belt. We'll be seeing him later in the year in the World Championships. Real prospect for Canada.
And Canada will be very keen to be performing well at the World Championships, trying to qualify a team for the Olympic Games. They haven't done that for a few years, but this next generation look very promising.
Mohamed Khaled Mir for South Africa. Next up onto the parallel bars. He's capable of getting over 13 on this piece of apparatus.
And that's why very efficient start, lovely handstand shape. Need good rhythm. You need to show the handstand, but have good rhythm as well. Was a little short on that first turn, and just a flicker of the legs apart as he goes up to handstand, but that was good work. Quite a tall gymnast, has to bend the legs quite a lot to swing under the bar. Super height in that dismount. He really lifted off the bars, but he doesn't look happy, really.
No, it's not as celebratory as his qualification round. Now, how far over 14 is Dolce going to go? Oh, he scored 14 dead. 39.4. He's in 7th. He's 2 marks off Pavel Palinyenko, who's leading this men's all-around competition ahead of James Hall. Jake Jarman in 3rd. Jesse Moore now up to rings.
Strong start, unfortunately didn't hold the position. Should have held the crucifix. Not really been having the greatest of outings so far. And I don't know whether he just hurt his shoulder a little bit at the start of the routine. You can see a bit of a niggle. He should have held that crucifix. Not a happy chappy at all.
Yeah, he's not going to continue there. Yeah, previous move, you saw it there.
Yeah, he was actually swinging at a bit of an angle there, wasn't he? Trying to save his shoulder.
Well, he's getting back on. Fair play. It's 30 seconds. Lots of support from this fantastic crowd in Birmingham for all the competitors on all of the days. Good position in the handstand. Winds up for the dismount. Double twisting, double back. He's not had the greatest of championships, but again, another future star to watch, I think, from Australia.
Yeah. The rest of the Australian team cheering him on.
Yeah, he went quickly through that, didn't he? He didn't make any real attempt to hold it.
Well, I'm sure he tried to, but he was just far too low. And it's such a routine that saps your strength so much.
Mohamed Khaled Mir scores a 13.25. Jacob Edwards having a very consistent competition here. Could surprise a few. Certainly if he nails this.
Well, he's gone for a big vault. Double front, and he does.
Got it round.
Well done, Jake. That was, he had to squeeze it in tight, the last somersault, but it went round.
That's a huge vault.
Well, he nearly dived off the podium in qualification. That's much better. Really seizing the opportunity. I mean, it was quite a deep landing, but it was round safely. 0.1 for the side. This young man is putting together the competition of his life.
Well, he's up into 8th with a score of 13.6. Big difficulty. 19 years old. Staying on vault with Daniel Lee, and he is a very good vaulter.
Another big tariff. 2.5 twist. Very good.
Well, he's going to vault up the standings after that one. Yeah, the gymnast representing Jersey.
The turn on, the push off, the 2.5 twists. He's extremely disciplined in his landing position, isn't he? Arms forwards, really strong landing.
Don't forget your bag, Dan. On you go. 14.15 for vault. Oh, what a shame for Jesse Moore. With that niggling shoulder, it's going to play its part in the next 3 pieces of apparatus. Vault, parallel bars and high bar to come for him.
So we're just waiting on an inquiry submitted by James Hall on the rings.
Well, yeah, I mean, he scored a 13.3. That's 10.6 for Jesse Moore. Yeah, 13.3, which is way down on the qualification score of James Hall. He scored 13.7 in qualification. So this will be an inquiry about the D score, the difficulty score.
Absolutely, we can't do anything about the execution. So sometimes the gymnasts feel like they might have got a combination, and some piece of apparatus, it can be quite easy to see, and these are a lot of single skills joined together, so I don't know where the confusion is, but he obviously feels like the judges have got it wrong, and you're allowed to submit an inquiry. We've had one already on the floor from Georgiou.
I guess, Craig, if they feel one of the strength elements wasn't held long enough or in a good enough shape, then it can affect your D-score, especially when you're linking those strength elements.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, we'll be back with you with the result of that inquiry, but as it stands, Pavel Kononenko leads James Hall and Jake Jarman in third. Jessie Moore is now pulled out of the competition. Took a shoulder injury on rings. We can also tell you that James Hall's rings is being rejected. He put in an inquiry there about the difficulty score on his rings routine, but that has been rejected. So the standings remain that Pavel Kononenko for Scotland is in the lead. James Hall is second and Jake Jarman is in third. Scotland have never had a Commonwealth all-around champion before. So this could be a big day for Scotland, big day for Pavel Kononenko. He leads halfway round Jake Jarman for England. He's currently in third, and he's going to be the first gymnast to vault here. And what a vaulter he is. He's got one chance, but this will be big. Here he goes, Jake Jarman, with his fourth piece of apparatus in this men's all-round final.
And this will be a massive vault. Oh, the extra half twist, it's a 6 tariff.
Absolutely massive. Well, he's 0.95 off the top spot, but using every 10th to claw his way back. Look at the difficulty.
You won't see many vaults as good as this around the world, let alone in the Commonwealth. Such a technician, legs locked together from the springboard. He blocks, he wraps in through the 3.5 twist. That will score big, if not the biggest score of the competition today. Huge.
Kenji Tamane for Canada over on parallel bars.
Extra padding around the biceps. Gymnasts allowed to add this for cushioning. There'll be a big skill coming up. Gymnasts must perform skills above the rails, below the rails. 10 most difficult elements added together. A little bit static in parts this routine. Could do be up in the tempo. The moi to the centre of the bars. That's his underbar skill. Into the double front. Not the most difficult we've seen, but very clean. And he'll be putting together a nice all-round score.
Yeah, that's what you need, the perfect way to do the all-round. This needs to be close to 15. It's 15-3! It's absolutely massive. It's put him into the lead. Look at the execution of 9.3. Now, Pavel will be up last on parallel bars, and he'll be up around the 14 mark, so game on. This needs to be big from James Hall and not too costly on the landing. Come on, James.
Yes, he goes for the 2.5, lovely height. Oh, and he did well to hold on to that, but he was feet out into the red zone, which is a 0.3.
Well, he's got 2 pieces left, parallel bars and high bar. And he's taken a bit of a twist there on his ankle.
Well, he knew he had to go for a good landing. I mean, Jake's vault, the difficulty is 8/10 more. He wraps in another twist. So he knew that he had to put in a good vault, and he went for broke. He did well actually to control that.
He went for a lot of height. James often vaults a little bit flatter than that, but he went for a lot of height, but of course it stalls it a bit.
Well, certainly keeping us on
all
the edge
eyes
of our seats.
are glued to that scoreboard. 13.2 for Kenji Tamane. It shows a second at the moment. But yeah, James knew he had no option but to absolutely go for it. He scored a 13.8. It's down on Jake Jarman, but he's in second, 1.15 behind Jake.
All on vault, virtually.
Yeah, well, this top group here. Frank's in and around as well. He's in contention.
Not so difficult. Oh, and a big step on landing as well. That's unusual for Frank. But the style in the air was fabulous.
Well, hopefully Frank will be in the top 10. What a comeback from retirement that would be. In
Really?
good company. I mean, this is there's a lot of strong talent here in this men's all-round.
Oh, there is. It's a really top-level competition. And you know, when you're watching a vault like Jake Jarman, 3.5 twists, he will challenge at the World Championships with that vaulting.
Oh yes, one of the best in the world, Christine. Frank putting together a very solid all-round competition. Like you say, if you can get a top 10 finish out of retirement, that's a fantastic result, Matt.
This is looking good for Jake Jarman, though. It really is. I mean, he can pretty much match Pavel on parallel bars, likewise on high bar, so...
Georgiou is the man to watch out for, definitely. Don't count him out at all.
13.75. Frank's in third.
Come on, Felix, let's go.
Still a lot of gymnastics to come here in this rotation. Well, Felix, he did incredibly well on rings to claw his way back. He's in 7th.
Well, we saw fantastic tumbling and fantastic vaulting as well. The 2.5 twist, the tariff is 5.2, but there wasn't very much wrong with that. He met the floor with real confidence.
Absolutely superb.
He's pulled himself back after that disappointing pommel, and that's what's impressing me about this gymnast. It's the ability through adversity to get your mind back into the game. And say, Matt, he's done some fantastic work, really impressed us. And look at that for an alignment.
Yeah, they've grown up through the junior ranks, Jake and Felix.
Super direction, because with all that number of twists, it's very easy to go offline.
How kind are the judges going to be? They've given him a 14.5. Felix Dolci's happy with that. 9.3 on the execution. All of his execution scores are huge. So as he gets older and builds the difficulty, he's going to be a real threat to the world champs later on this year in Liverpool. Marius Georgiou, bronze in the all-round last Commonwealth Games. He can certainly vault north of 14 as well.
Only put up a 4.8, so it'll have to be near perfect. Little bit offline.
He's not 100% on song, is he?
He doesn't really seem quite so, does he? Perhaps they've been celebrating hard that team medal.
Yes.
Well, actually, yeah, that might be it, Christine, but you're right. Normally in the team event, and he might be one of those gymnasts that actually prefers to work with a team, and it gives him a chance to express his character, because we tend to see the gymnasts produce their best gymnastics when they're enjoying themselves. If you look at the men's team the other night, the women's team, they looked like they were really enjoying themselves. And the South African team yesterday, fantastic in the women's comp.
13.65. It's down on what he's capable of.
I think as well, this is the second competition. I know they've had a day's rest, but it's not that long. And the younger gymnasts, like Jake Jarman, you can see he's still full of bounce. Whereas the gymnasts, a little bit, whose bodies take a little bit more to recover, are probably feeling it a bit.
And the younger gymnasts, very hungry.
Yes, without that weight of expectation on their shoulders in quite the same way.
All to win and nothing to lose as we go to the parallel bars.
Jacob Edwards for Wales, having a very steady all-round competition.
Well, it would be fantastic if this young man could finish in the top 10. Come on, a little bit of strength there at the start. He's got to settle in. Arm bend there, he'll take a 0.1 deduction. Come on, Jacob, that's better. He needs his skill under the bars. That's one of the requirements. Constructs the routines. You can hear his mum shouting in the audience. Double pike. Oh, and what a shame. Well saved. It's through another routine.
Well, he was in 8th after the last piece of apparatus.
Well, he did well to get through, but there were a few errors there.
2 pieces left to go for Jacob. First chance to see a bit of high bar. Yeah, the big group's moving round there very, very shortly. But Jake Jarman leads this men's all-around competition. He's 1 mark, 0.15 ahead of James Hall. Marius Georgiou is up into 3rd. After that vault, Felix Dolce now up into 4th. Fernando from Sri Lanka.
Starts his high bar routine with the hop over the bar, the Markelov. That fulfills his requirement for a release and recatch. That fulfills his requirement for a close bar element and a forward grip. Very nice swing, actually. Lovely straight arms. And straight line as well in the handstand shape. Double tuck dismount, and he lost his head. You can see his head had almost gone in for another somersault. And that's when you jar your back a little bit.
He did well to get out of that safely, actually. Can Jacob stay up there in the top 10? He can, he's in 8th, 12.1.
Good score.
Very good. But Daniel Lee next to go for Jersey. Daniel Lee looking for high 13s here.
Another gymnast putting together a fine competition. Good on this piece of apparatus, good extension in the arms, kicks out in the long swing. Oh, lovely, difficult work. Somersault to catch between the bars. And again, the parallel bars gives the gymnast that opportunity to display their personality. Can be such a thrilling piece of apparatus to watch, and this young man works his piece well. Come on. If he can finish off as well as he started, it'll be a big score. Come on, stick the dismount. What a routine! This gymnast is having the competition of his life. Come on, exactly.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, he was in 6th going up to parallel bars, so he could rise from there.
Well, it would be a great story, wouldn't it? Was he in the first round we saw, I think? And he was so impressive, but we weren't quite sure whether it was just so impressive because he was the only really classy gymnast in that first round, but he's holding his own really well now.
Fernando 9-7. And over to the gymnast from South Africa, Mohammed Khalid Mir. Mohammed Khalid Mir scored a 12.8 in his qualification round. He's having a subdued competition.
Quite a tall gymnast, swings with good style and line. Here comes the big release and a nice controlled recatch. And again in the straddle position, these are called Kachev after the first person who performed them. So he's done 2 big release and catches. Swinging confidently, but that pirouette was a little bit sideways. He didn't finish the full turn before he swung down, but he got out of it very well, and that was a clean hop full. Changes the shape again, lifts up, 2 twists, very easy double straight with double twist. I don't know why he looks so subdued, Matt, because
yeah,
actually He's performing quite well.
He is. Well, there's that smile we like. So Dan Lee hoping for something around. Yes, look at that score, 14. That's brilliant. Puts him into 5th. Well done, Dan. So the leader then, after the last rotation, Pavel Kononenko, has real pressure on this parallel bar routine. He needs it to be up around 14.
Well, needed a bit of strength at the start. That won't help. He scored 13.8 in qualification. And this will be a real test to see if he can perform under the pressure. Good long swing. Oh, nice transition. That's the dip out. No hesitation into the handstand. Come on, come on. Oh, what a shame. Needs to cut a good dismount. But maybe the pressure's starting to show.
Yeah. This is where it gets tense. Oh, Pavel.
He'd be kicking himself there. If it had matched qualification 13.8, it'd have put him into 2nd place, but he's not going to get near that with those big deductions.
12.3 for Khalid's high bar.
That's more like it.
Yogeshwar Singh for India now, the 16th highest qualifier for this men's all-around.
Oh, and that was very nice. Lovely style in the air. And here comes a big release and another beautiful style. And the straddle extends right at the back so it doesn't interrupt the swing at all. Very nice high bar work. A little bit late coming out of that squat dislocation. The aim is to hit the handstand, and again with the endo, left the shoulders forwards a little bit, but the swing is good, the shape is good. Here comes the dismount. That's good as well, just a little pace. Some small deductions, but very nice swing.
Nice work from India there on the high bar. Nice to see this nation improving over the years.
Pavel's been a very significant junior in the British team.
13.4 for Pavel Kononenko. Puts him in 2nd. He's ahead of James Hall.
Did well there on the score, actually.
Yeah, Jake Jarman leads this competition. 0.95 ahead of Pavel. And then James Hall is in 3rd. Just a couple of tenths between Pavel and James. Two pieces still left to go for the top groups. Parallel bars and high bar for the top group, and high bar and floor for Pavel's group.
That replay, when you say you catch with full extension, it really shows him catching the bar with his arms dead straight.
$12.7 for Yogeshwar Singh on high bar.
And that's a good score for high bar.
2nd of the Cypriot gymnasts in this men's all-around final. Giorgio Gonas. He scored a 13.25 in qualification, the 19-year-old.
And it's one of their strong pieces, Cyprus. You can see he sees the bar early, hands come out and grasp that bar back again. Lovely. Long swing on one arm. See there, he finishes that straddle in the handstand position, shoulders through. He'll change the shape of the swing when he wants to move into a dismount. And then he'll kick over the bar so that he can use the height and flight to lift off in that dismount with full twist. That was very nice high bar work.
Well, that'll do well to try and get him into the top 10. He was in 12th going up to this piece. These gymnasts pushing for the accolade of the top 10 at the Commonwealth here in the men's all-round. Ethan Dick next up on high bar.
Good position there in the squat dislocate with half turn. Gymnasts need to aim these skills toward the handstand. Oh, and a little bit close there on his first release, having to bend the arms on the long swing out. But quickly gains momentum. Much better there in the squat dislocate. The inverted swings, as they're known. Gymnasts must utilise all different hand grips. Full twist in the dismount. Good routine apart from the little hiccup in the middle.
Well, his parallel bar routine put him within reach. He was in 5th going up to high bar. And there's a bit of quality in there.
He was just a bit close on that release and catch, so he didn't have enough swing after he caught and had to bend his arms a lot. But he recovered well.
Down to 8th, Ethan Dick, 12.4 for horizontal bar. So 2 more pieces to go. Gunnar scores a 12.95 for high bar. They're just warming up on floor, ready for their 5th piece. So this is how things look. Jake Jarman leads this men's all-around ahead of Pavel Kononenko for Scotland in 2nd. James Hall is in 3rd as it stands. Daniel Lee in 6th. This is Ethan Dick on floor for New Zealand. Oh, sat that one down, Chris.
Yes, after a good first tumble, he just mistimed that double Arabian. And just a step out. We've spoken about this floor area before, but you really have to be secure on your landings. It's very bouncy, but it's really punishing if you don't make the landing really positive. See that, where the gymnast bends the knees, presses the heels down. Easy when it's a straight somersault. When it's lots of twists like that, a little bit harder. That was his double twist. Nice triple. Shame about the mistake in the middle, because there was a lot of nice work. Good triple twist to finish.
Yeah, Ethan Dick down in 8th. So James Hall will be first up on parallel bars. It's a big piece for him. He's got the difficulty. He's such a strong all-rounder as far as the difficulty level is concerned. But that comes at a price. It's risky stuff, and the pressure is on for James Hall.
Solid start. He really is under enormous pressure coming into this all-around final. Lovely work there, showing originality. Must really focus. Oh, good control there. It works the parallel bar so well. Look at the height of this straddle front somersault. Such a great competitor. Come on now, James, hang on. The double front somersault. Well, they asked the question and he replied.
He's so cool and calm under pressure. What a parallel bar routine from James Hall.
And he's hurting on that foot that he took a knock on, because James is not one for a big dramatic fuss.
Well, he's got one more landing to do on high bar.
But that was real control on the actual apparatus.
Just incredible composure. Well, he's going to have to put some strapping on, or he's going to have to change the plan.
Well, there's the doctor who looks after all the gymnasts there.
Oh dear, yeah, James is a tough lad, so there's something going on.
But the work on this apparatus was super.
And just look at the spatial awareness on that dismount.
Not a huge amount of deduction for the judges in that parallel bar routine, but on we go with the gymnast from the Cayman Islands, Igor Magles.
And swinging well. That clear handstand really needs to go right into handstand. Good full turn, keeping the swing going. Big change of shape, full twisting double back in the tap position. It was very long, but he did very well indeed.
Yep, sadly no extra marks for distance.
Not on this occasion.
James looks shaken, but a score of 14.5 will be very helpful indeed. It's huge. 5-6 on the difficulty. One more piece to go for James Hall. Can he get himself a medal in this men's all-around final? And if so, what colour?
Well, that performance was up 1 full mark from qualification. He's not giving up without a fight.
Frank Baines second up in this top group on parallel bars. Got a bronze in the Commonwealths back in 2018.
Hugely stylish gymnast, especially on this piece of apparatus. Again, not the difficulty that we'll see. He had to take an extra swing there, which was uncharacteristic of him. I was just about to say his execution is second to none. And by that I mean the way he performs the skills. He's got such a calm approach. Come on, Frank. Big dismount, the double pipe back, and look at that landing. Cool as a cucumber, a little hiccup in the middle.
Absolutely superb. That's the way to finish your parallel bar routine. High bar to go for Frank.
Certainly gunning for a top 10 finish.
And he was in 7th going into this. 10.35 Margles from the Cayman Islands. Jacob Edwards now for Wales. Jacob was in that 10th place spot, up to his 5th piece. Ooh. Come on, keep it going.
Little bit bent arms to swing out of that Markelov. Good, Kachev. A little bit late as he came out of that squat position. Lovely straight arms in the swing. And in the Stolder, that's his close element. Here comes the dismount, full twisting, double back. Good, strong dismount, lots of flight, good control.
And he's having a great, consistent, all-round competition. Franks has gone up in 2nd as it stands at the moment with 13.25. Well, Felix Dolce was in 5th before this piece of apparatus. Another gymnast that can swing these bars incredibly well. He's in the P-bar final as well with a score of 14.4.
Come on, that's a good start, no hesitation. Lovely extension there and the full turn around the one arm. Well done, good straight arms, little separation in the legs, it's only a 0.1, but locks out well in the handstand. Lovely height there on the backward long swing. And again, on the straddle front somersault. Lots of variety in this routine. Zips up to the handstand. Textbook tip belt. Now, come on, good dismount required. Double front with a half turn. Well, he's having a great competition. Apart from that fall from the pommel horse, it would have been right up there.
He's absolute class. He really is something special. Jacob Edwards. What's the score going to be? It's 12.2 for high bar. That's good.
Good high execution score, 8.1 there.
It's a real confidence builder for Jacob at just 19 years old, the youngest member of the Welsh team. Well, what could Daniel Lee do here? Daniel in 6th after the last piece of apparatus. He took a fall in qualification on this piece. If he stays on, he's capable of a very big score on horizontal bar.
Well, he started well. That was a good turn. You can see as the swing changes, here comes the big release and recatch, and he's on. Fantastic. Here comes the Kachev combinations. That's right. Good close bar, Stolder to handstand. Ooh. Just on the turn was a little dodgy, but he covered it very well. There we go, that squat dislocation out towards handstand. A smooth change of grip. So, just a dismount to make. Up he goes, double-double in the tuck position. Wow, he's having such a great competition.
5 done, 1 to go for Daniel Lee. And he'll be happy to have shown the Commonwealth what he can do on high bar.
Well, he stood out in the qualification, and we did wonder whether he could rise to the occasion in the later rounds, and he certainly has.
But what about this gymnast? 14.
Yeah, he's the full package, isn't he? He can, you know, he can jump, he can swing, he's got great natural balance. He just probably needs a little bit more competition exposure, I would guess.
And, you know, this experience here in Arena Birmingham, this has come at a perfect time for him in his career, because I think it's going to give him a real boost. You find out how well you can perform in a cauldron like this, don't you?
You do indeed.
Marius Georgiou, he's been off the mark in this men's all-around. We had high hopes for him, as I'm sure he did from medal.
Well, they come 14 on this piece of apparatus. This is one of the apparatus scores that really helped the team to secure that historic bronze medal. It's got such a beautiful line and style on this piece of apparatus. Oh, and there without hesitation, that's a very difficult skill. A full turn around the one arm. Faultless so far. Just that little adjustment, but it's only a 0.1. Going well, into the double pike, that step forward. Beautiful, beautiful parallel bar work.
It's put him back in contention, there's no doubt about that. And it's going to pile the pressure on for high bar, because potentially he could land on the medal podium.
He's got that special quality on those parallel bars, doesn't he? Gives himself time.
Dan Lee up to 3rd for Jersey. 13.25. One piece left for him, and it's floor. Well, Pavel Kanayenko was in 2nd, going up to high bar. It's a very big routine for him. Can he stay on?
And he's got all the ability and the flair. Has he got the nerve? 2nd release. 3rd release, lovely at full stretch. Full turn into the one arm, and oh, he got out of that so well. Lovely swing, here it comes. Oh, just a pace, but that was a very good high bar routine.
He's through safely, and that's what counts on high bar. Floor to go for Pavel.
Well, the Scottish gymnasts are having a fantastic outing today in this all-around final. 12.55 in qualification.
Yeah, he's having real trouble with that shoulder. So I'm stretching it out earlier on using the platform, but 14.25 puts him up into 2nd. He's 1.1 behind James Hall, ahead of Felix Dolce, who drops into 3rd, and Daniel Lee currently 4th. Well, Jake Jarman, the leader, going up to the 5th piece of apparatus. Can he just remain composed? He's capable of getting close to 14, and he'll need every 10th.
Well, this will be the real test. Can he handle the nerves? Oh, nice work so far. Strong in the arms. Locks out well. Oh, lovely underbar work. He'll pirouette and travel back down the bars. Here we go. Beautiful in the skill there. That's called the Bavzar. He'll pirouette and get back into the middle of the bars. Needs to whip up into handstand. That's good. Needs to dismount. Double front with a half turn. And he's done it. Should be enough to keep him in the 1st place position.
Jake Jarman not giving anything away. Just one more piece of apparatus in this men's all-around final. It's looking good for Jake Jarman.
And he's really finding his focus, isn't he? He's always had the ability. Now he's bringing that determination and concentration to bear.
With every piece, the pressure eases. 12.9. It's up from where he was in qualification. He's in third. Joint third. With Felix Dolce. James Hall leads. Marius Georgiou in second.
And smoothly underway on this high bar routine. Ooh, super. Into the handstand. Interesting close bar elements. Here come the releases. Little bit soft in the elbows on the long swings. Unusual technique, double straight with the full twist quite late. Very good landing.
Yeah, Kenji Tamane at 20 years old. It's a story of the young gymnast, isn't it? With Jake and Felix and Kenji.
And Pavel as well, actually. And I do think, you know, they're bouncy, they're full of excitement, loving this big arena.
14-1 for parallel bars for Jake Jarman. It's a huge score. He goes 0.75 ahead of James Hall. And Marius Georgiou is third. Claire Mason-Stevens. Next gymnast up onto horizontal bar.
Well, we've seen some great work. Super swings. Super release. Gosh, he was on fingertips for that catch. Always stylish, the Australian gymnast. Legs locked together. Here comes the dismount. Very easy. Double straight with full twist.
Yeah, his competition's getting better and his celebration's growing.
That completes this rotation. Arena Birmingham, please make some noise for the gymnasts as they move round to their last piece.
13.35 for the Aussie on high bar. There he goes. He's heading round to floor now. Then he'll be lighting the Barbie, no doubt. Georgiou is in that third place spot. And Jake Jarman, James Hall and Marius Georgiou are the names that we were expecting to see in and around the top three. We weren't sure of the order, and the final piece of apparatus will decide that. But this is how things look with one piece to go. Jake Jarman ahead of James Hall by 0.75. Marius Georgiou in third at the moment. Daniel Lee still in sixth. One to go, bring on the high bar.
one's gone, and then.
Too full. Do you want to help with this?
Well, this is just the end of the warm-up still. James will be last to go, believe it or not. So if the pressure isn't big enough, he'll have to watch everybody go and then know the score that he needs to post. He's going to have to be gentle here as he gets off. Yeah, just nursing that ankle injury. He'll be saving everything. He won't want to put too much weight on it. Just go for that big dismount and hopefully land on a Commonwealth medal. But Jake Jarman is going to do everything he can to make it as difficult as possible. Jake, the second highest qualifier, is in very, very good shape to take the title here. But it is possible for James to do, but he's going to have to do the high bar routine of his life. No doubt about that.
He certainly is, Mike. We were just having a little chat there at the warm-up. And from qualification, James scored 0.6 higher than Jake. However, 0.6 is not enough. He's going to have to go a little bit better. He's got that little bit of a niggle. I'm sure he'll put that to the back of his mind. We've just seen him nail a parallel bar dismount. This is going to go to the wire or the bar.
Well, yeah. Frank Baines will be first up. Brilliant to see Frank back from retirement for these Commonwealth Games. He's come out and done an absolute stormer. It's great to have his company. You can see he's chatting away, obviously, to James as well as he goes through two gymnasts that have grown up together in the GB squad. Well, Frank was in 7th. Come on, the final round then of this men's all-around competition. Who's going to take the title? Not long to wait to find out, but Frank Baines up first on high bar.
Well, what a champion of Scotland this young man's been. Lots of height and flight on the releases there. Such a stylish gymnast and excels on this piece of apparatus. 3 release and catches so far. Has to change the dynamic of the routine to fulfill the different requirements. Seamless in the handstands. Watch the height of this dismount. Kicks up, full twisting double back straight, sticks the landing. That's got to be a top 10 finish for the man out of retirement.
Well done, Frank Baines. Great to have you back. What a performance for Scotland. What an individual performance he's put in here in Birmingham. Absolutely outstanding.
Yes, he's worked almost faultlessly, and he's always been a real stylish gymnast. Actually, having watched him from young, he would often make a lot of mistakes, but he's come back here a bit more worldly wise, just qualified as a physiotherapist. So gymnastics is not the only thing in his life, and you can see how much more well-balanced his ability to perform is.
Well, Frank has made the high bar final, so he'll be back in to this arena to feel the energy of this place. I mean, what a spectacle it is. I mean, we've said, Chris, every single day, absolutely packed to the rafters here, and the crowd really getting behind these gymnasts, giving them opportunity and feeling an experience of a lifetime here.
Yeah, this arena is really buzzing. It's not a huge arena, and so even the people the furthest away feel really engaged with the action, and the gymnasts are loving it.
13.25. Felix Dolce is up next. A gymnast that's been absolutely superb. If it wasn't for that pommel horse, we'd be talking about a very different story here. But he is in joint fourth, and he's more than capable on this piece. But as with everything, the key is to stay on.
Just wowed us on the parallel bars. Look at that intricate one-arm work. Oh, lovely position there. The squat dislocate with a full twist and again with the half. Gymnast can't repeat a skill, but this is a big release. Oh, and that was fingertips. The full twisting Kovacs is going again. Oh, what about that? Change the action on the swing, the straight Katchev. Full of difficulty, and another for good measure. 4 release and catches. Oh, I've been so impressed with this gymnast during this competition. Wraps in for a double twist. This gymnast is definitely one to watch. Impressed from start to finish. Little mistake on the pommel horse, but what a performance, Matt.
Absolutely outstanding. I'm predicting an all-around world champion right there. Maybe not this year, but certainly in the years to come. Phenomenal.
Well, this was as stretched as it comes. He just got that second hand on in time. Look, 1, 2. If you are below horizontal, your chance, when you put your hand on, the chances of hanging on are very minimal. But a beautiful, high, flighty double straight with double twist.
Great quality for just 20 years old. Echoing that of Jake Jarman. He came off in qualification on high bar, but to be where he is with a fall on pommel horse, it's quite something.
Yeah, because it was quite a low score actually, wasn't it? So he's had to claw his way back.
Well, he's gone into the lead for now with 13.65 on I-bar. He's 2 marks ahead of Frank Baines. What a very important routine here for Marius Georgiou in that 3rd place spot. This for a medal. He was 1.85 down from Jake Jarman, who was leading going into this rotation, but this a huge high bar routine for him.
Yeah, we've just seen a very stylish P-bar routine. That was a good position. Gymnasts have got to aim towards a handstand, and he does. Watch this now. Winds up. Huge into the Kovacs. Perfect straight arms. He'll go again with the full turn. Come on. Little bit of a flex in the arm, swinging out. Better to do that and come off the bar. Lovely work around the one arm. In bar skill, Stolder winds up for a dismount, winds up for a medal. Full twisting double back, it's good! That will take a medal, but what colour will it be?
Well, he couldn't have done any more than that. It'll be a little tentative wait to see if he's done enough to go ahead of Dolce. I think he might have done. Dan Lee in 6th. He's had a storming all-around competition. He's a lovely floor worker as well. What a way to end his all-around competition here.
Double twisting, double back. Quite a difficult piece to finish on. But like you say, Matt, he's had such a strong competition. Super twisting forward elements. And the double front, perfect landing. Lovely technique on that full twist, the way he wrapped his arms in. He's actually a very classy gymnast. Good extension, he's strong. He's polished. Cleanly through the 1.5 into full twist. Beautiful lift for the triple twist. Biggest deduction of all, the step back, but that was a super clean routine to finish what has been a special day.
Outstanding performance from Daniel Lee. Jersey will be proud. Giorgio, yes, he's gone ahead of Dolce. He scored 13.55. 0.2 ahead of Dolce. Close, very, very close. Well, what can this young man do here? Jake Jarman, 20 years old, going for gold in this men's all-around final. Keep it calm, Jake.
Oh, lovely control there, the straight catch, Ev. Must make sure he gets hold of the bar, he does again. Well done. Change grip. Into the squat dislocate. The in-bar skill. Not the most difficult routine, so he'll have to execute it well. He'll need a big dismount. Winds up, we know he can twist, he wraps in. Full twisting, double back. He's through. Will that be enough to keep the first place? Time will tell.
Well, it's a hugely impressive all-around performance by the 20-year-old. If it's not gold, it's a very well-deserved silver. Absolutely superb from Jake Jarman. He couldn't have done much better than that. That vault put him way up there, give him the best possible chance. Well, time will tell. Daniel Lee, 12.7. He's in 3rd at the moment. Pavel Konajenko now on floor.
Huge double pike front somersault to open with. Forward tumbling all the way so far. But lovely landings, lovely style in the air. Here comes the backward tumbling as well. So efficient on the landings. And another very classy gymnast. Legs always straight and extended. Precise movements with the arms. And a super triple twist landed. Such a popular last tumble, but that's one of the best I've seen.
Very strong work from Pavel across his 6 pieces of apparatus. What a display we're seeing from the home nations in this men's all-around competition. Truly world-class.
Last bit, James, you can do this.
So looking for over 11.7. It's 13.4 for Jake Jarman. Wow. That means that James Hall needs over 14.15 to take the title. For the high bar routine of his life and the men's all-around title at the Commonwealth Games, it's James Hall.
Well, he can't hold back at all. Oh, and he's through the first one. This is a hugely difficult routine. Great catch. He has to go at full extension because it's the execution score. Oh, that was nice work. Squat dislocate into the handstand, the full turn. Hot full turn. So far, this is the best he's ever done. This dismount for a coloured medal. Little adjustment on landing. Will it be enough? I think that might be the silver. But what a character and what determination from this young man.
Great determination and sheer tenacity has got James Hall all the way around the 6 pieces of apparatus. Well, he's a hero to so many in the British team, and we are on our feet, James Hall. He took a silver at the Commonwealth Games in the all-around, the last games. And time will tell what colour his medal is.
Well, what fantastic performances from the English boys, really, from all the home nations.
Pavel Karnajenko is in 4th at the moment, 12.75. James's score still to come in.
Have to say, Jake Jarman has worked with extra maturity today. I wasn't sure that he quite had that concentration, but he's shown us today he's really ready to become a powerful member of this Great Britain team.
Well, 14.15 is a big ask for high bar.
Well, I'm looking at the qualification. He had a 14, and the routine itself was better than qualification, apart from the 2 steps on the dismount. I said silver. I wouldn't like to call it now because that was the routine of his life. 1, 2 tenths. Wow, what a final. What gymnastics.
We're looking at each other, Greg. Nobody knows. It's in the hands of the judges, and they are taking their time, quite rightly.
But what a fantastic achievement. I mean, the forces going through your foot as you land off that high bar are tremendous. And when you know you're already hobbling, to have the courage to absolutely nail it like that is unbelievable.
And the height you come down from, the impact, absolutely fantastic. Whatever, these guys have put on a fantastic performance.
James Hall, it's a silver, 13.6 for James Hall. It's silver again. But well done, that young man, 20 years old. There is your all-around Commonwealth champion, and he goes by the name of Jake Jarman. James Hall will settle for silver. Huge disappointment, but great respect for the young lad that's coming through in the British team. Marius Georgiou, he will take the bronze. But it's Jake Jarman 1, James Hall 2, and Marius Georgiou 3. Felix Dolce finishes in 4th with a fall. Well, what a display of all-around brilliance from Jake Jarman.
Oh, really, like I've just said, you know, he's always been the young pretender and has just seemed to be a little bit immature, but to this championships, he's certainly grown up and shown us what a true champion he is and is going to be for long into the future.
Well, Clay Mason-Stevens, he's made the floor final, and he's wrapping up this men's all-around competition in style.
And style it is. Super high, double pike front somersault. These gymnasts are so dynamic. Oh, I love that. Full twist, immediate double tuck front. Oh, not quite so successful. Double twisting, double back. Under rotated and did very well to roll out of it. Shows plenty of control. 2.5, straight front. Lovely double twist. Super big, double Arabian to finish. There was so much good tumbling there, but he actually just exited that under-rotated somersault so well.
Well, that is it. The party of the men's all-around final is almost done. There's just a few medals to give out, and 2 of them go to Team England, with Jake Jarman and James Hall.
And great performances from the rest of the home nations, with Scotland and Wales just in the top 10.
Yeah, two Scottish gymnasts, Pavel and Frank Baines.
Young Jacob Edwards came in as a replacement and finished in 10th. Fantastic work, Josh Cook, 11th. That's not as cool as the hat I'm going to get, Matt.
It is.
Do you think? We'll see.
Yeah, I think I'd buy you one of those if you were prepared to swap.
All right, Christine.
Claire Mason-Stevens, 12.3. Not bad, he says. That'll do. Well done, mate. Super stuff. But there's your champion, Jake Jarman from Team England, and a silver medal for James Hall. It's England, 1 and 2. Yeah, it's not going to be the last time that he drapes a flag around his shoulders on the world stage, that man. Jake Jarman soaking it up, and that's the key. You can put all the effort you like in the gym, and you can be as good as you want behind closed doors, but you've got to come out and deliver and produce when it matters. And there you are, opposite ends of their career. James Hall has been such a stalwart for so many years, so dependable for England and for Great Britain. And the young gun comes through, Jake Jarman.
Great victory for Jake, but I'm so disappointed for James. So close last time with the silver, and like you say, Matt, Christine, it's been an absolute pleasure to follow that man's career. He's played such a crucial part within the GB team.
Yeah.
Well, he's led the team really, like he was the top performer at the Olympic Games. And, you know, James wasn't one of the celebrated great juniors in Britain. He came through a little bit slower, but has really proved his worth. And will be, I'm sure, we'll see him at these next championships.
There's confirmation of the men's all-around final. Jake Jarman is the champion, half a mark ahead of James Hall. Marius Georgiou takes the bronze. But 2 Scottish gymnasts of Pavel and Frank Baines in the top 10, 5th and 7th. And Wales, Jacob Edwards came in as a replacement. He finishes 10th. Josh Cook as well in 12th. What an incredible performance from the home nations. And what a men's all-around final. Jake Jarman, the champion.
Medal ceremony for the men's all-around competition.
Please welcome the medalists.
Welcome back, guys. This is what it's all been about. The thrills and spills of the last few hours. The medal presentation for the men's all-around gymnastic final. Leading out, Marius Georgiou of Cyprus. His second medal of the Games, picking up the historic bronze with Team Cyprus a few days ago. James Hall topped qualification and put in such a brave performance, struggling with injury. Had to settle for silver behind his teammate Jake Jarman.
The medals will be presented by Chris Jenkins, Vice President of the Commonwealth Games Federation.
Medals being presented by Chris Jenkins, Vice President of the Commonwealth
Accompanied
Games
by
Federation.
Robert McVeigh, Chairman of the Commonwealth Games Council for Northern Ireland.
And Robert McVeigh, Chairman of the Commonwealth Games Council for Northern Ireland, will present the gifts.
Bronze medalist, representing Cyprus, Marius Georgiou.
The bronze medal winner put in a fantastic performance for Greece, Marius Georgiou. Bronze 4 years ago in 2018, and bronze again today.
Real sparkling performance from him. Second bronze medal, Cyprus of course winning the team bronze as well. So really becoming a very successful championships for them.
Silver medalist representing England, James Hall.
And the silver medal to probably one of the gutsiest performances you'll see across all the sports at this Commonwealth Games goes to James Hall from England.
Such determination and courage from James to work even when he'd hurt his foot on the vault. Showed what huge mental strength he has.
Gold medalist and Commonwealth Games champion, representing England, Jake Jarman.
And the new Commonwealth Games all-round gymnastic champion for England, Jake Jarman. The new kid on the block claims victory here today.
Gave a wonderful, consistent performance, was outstanding on his special pieces and consistent on those pieces that he's had to work hard at. Unbelievable talent on floor and vault, but shows he's a real six-piece champion now.
For those who are able to, please stand for the anthem of England.
It's 2 out of 2 for England at the gymnastics. Jake Jarman takes the all-around title ahead of his teammate James Hall. The bronze to Cyprus' Marius Georgiou. Scotland finished 5th with Pavel Karnajenko. Frank Bain 7th. Jacob Edwards placed highest of the Welsh gymnast in 10th, just ahead of Joshua Cook.
Well, you can't ask any more than that.